What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 9. Oh my goodness,
God, is
almost
it
at the Big
9?
Ten. Yes!
What? How?
I know, right? That is crazy.
How many digits can we get to?
Right. Well, that's the goal. We'll see how far. Well, welcome everybody, and there we go. Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. We have a live chat going on, so if you're live, join us. We'll be looking at your comments and throwing them into the show. And if you're watching later, no worries, comment down below. And so your host for the evening, I am Carrie Lane, and I'm joined by...
I'm Katie Cullen.
I was going to say we have the nice purple going on. We're very flashy this evening.
This is just what I wore today.
Nice.
I know it's like, oh, I woke up like this, but no, like this is legitimately what I wore today when I was running around doing errands because it's hella comfy and long enough to go over leggings. So, Elhofer Design, not sponsored, but I love it. So.
I was going to say also not sponsored, but I really like it. Got my Demon Slayer long sleeve from Atsuko.
Yes.
I like that they have the emblem on the sleeve as well, and it's very comfy. And yeah, go check them out if you want cool anime attire.
Oh, Atsuko does amazing work.
Mm-hmm. So shout out also to small businesses, which both of the companies we mentioned are. So yay. Welcome back. Happy New Year. My goodness, right?
Happy New Year.
Yay.
What happened? Why is it 2022? Where did 2021 go? Why are we still in 2020 DLC? Release better DLC.
For everybody over the holidays, let us know what are some of the things you watched. And if you missed it, go check out our previous video where we covered some really fun and unique and different holiday movies that we you haven't watched or give you a new perspective on them.
Or maybe you just want to traumatize your friends.
That too. We have also back to the shout out in the chat. We got Giga Derek, good vibes. Saw your quote from last week for content to watch for surgery. Hope your surgery went well if it already happened. If it hasn't happened yet, hope it goes well and speedy recovery.
Yeah. And welcome back.
Yes. So we're going to do this evening, we're going to talk about some things we're excited about, which are things that are happening or upcoming very soon, as well as go talk about Demon Slayer because we had 3 episodes to cover, which was so nice to watch 3 in a row. Oh, felt so juicy. I was like, yes. Wow, that's a bad pun for some other things on the more adult side of this is not safe for work.
Look, I say the fuck word often enough that this isn't safe for work on language alone.
Yes. As well as at the end, we'll talk about some of the things we watched over the holidays. Yeah. So let's get into first off things we're excited about. Another shout out to another small company. Small business. This is the 2022 Happy New Year from Japan Crate. This is the premium crate, so it's big. And let's take a look inside. So look, it even has the, there we go. Happy New Year. If you are unfamiliar with these crates, they have all kinds of yummy, as I try not to spill it, goodies inside. Yeet. And they come with a flyer to tell you about everything inside. So if you get you could do a mini, the original, and premium, you get all the things. So I like that best because then you get to keep it all for yourself or you share.
Or your co-host does a heist for some of the items.
Yes. I was going to say, speaking of specialty ones, we'll give you a quick one. Show it off. I was like, where it is. Of course, it's going to be in the bottom again. But we showed it off last time.
Getting the ASMR from digging it out.
Kitkat again, we'll show that off. This is Pistachio Kitkat. So this is a special winter edition, limited edition limited winter edition pistachio. So it's pistachio with milk chocolate. So keep it all to yourself, or you can share them as tasty gifts to celebrate the holidays.
I definitely saw that squirrel and went, squirrel Kit Kats? I was real confused for a hot second there. It was
that's you.
Like, all right, squirrel Kit Kat. Why? Okay. And it was like, pistachios. That makes sense.
Also, because if you like ASMR, we're all about that on this show too.
And if you don't like ASMR, I'm so sorry. We'll be done soon.
Yeah. Okay, one more because I was like, ooh, wintry, because we're still wintry. So this one is a Calbee Winter Powder Snow Salt flavor. So it is salt sprinkled chips thicker than your average crinkle cut. And it's, oh, that's cute. A bite of these chips is said to sound like you're stepping on fresh snow, and they're exclusively made from Hokkaido potatoes. So
okay, that's what I'm going to be staging the heist for this month.
You're like,
that's what I'm going after. Yes, exactly.
You're like da 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 da. Yeah.
I love. No, that's a sports song. We're going more for.
No, it's mission. It works. Yeah.
No. You had y'all ready for this. That's
no.
A sports.
There's another one. I don't know. I'll think about it. Leave comments. Anyways, go check them out. Go check out Premium, or go check out Japan Crate online for your yummy snacky goodness. And also
steal the squirrel Kit Kats from your co-hosts.
Yes.
Obtain them.
Yes. And then shout out back to Giga Derek, mentioned successful spinal fusion. Wow, my arms work again. Well, that is good. And glad that went well.
I feel like you need that.
You know, just kind of.
Congratulations. Yay.
Yes.
Glad you're doing better.
And then we have some other exciting news about a new anime movie coming out to theaters.
The dubbed version of Belle is dropping on, I believe, the 14th.
January 14th, so very soon, y'all.
And if you have somehow missed the press for this one, it is a little bit of SAO-style virtual world and a little bit of Beauty and the Beast, and done by the same director who did Wolf Children, if you would like to lie on the floor and cry for a little bit. Like, it's going to be great.
It is. I saw it at the Animations Film Festival. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. It is stunning. It's really cool. Look at the virtual world. Also think Ready Player One-ish, just being in a virtual space. Also, the filmmaker did Summer Wars, so you can see that style continuing, and you can see our interview with the director on this channel. Go check out the Animations Film Festival to go watch that interview, and we'll link it down below too. Anything else you were excited about, or should we get excited about Demon Slayer, because that was the big thing we got to do?
I mean, Anime Los Angeles is this weekend if you're in the LA area, and if you feel safe enough to go to a convention, that's going on. And Gallifrey is next month, which I'm stoked about, because anyone who's been hanging around my social media for more than a year knows that Gallifrey is my home con. So I will be there. It'll be a blast. But that is
Where is that one located?
The Marriott by LAX. So it's a smaller convention.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking it was I was like, it's more south, right? Because it's not like, LA Convention Center, but,
No, it's by LAX.
Oh, that's cool.
Which means that getting there is fun sometimes.
Yes, I remember. I've gone to, I don't even remember, but one early anime convention in the early days of going was down that way. And so.
Yeah, that's where ALA used to be until it
maybe that was it.
Moved to the convention center.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was in Pasadena, no?
Anime Pasadena was in Pasadena.
Maybe that's, I'm getting confused. All the things.
I think ALA's in Ontario? I don't know. I have no idea.
Leave a comment if you know, because I'm like, I've seen people post about it, and then I'm like,
hey, that's this coming weekend.
Yes, go check it out.
Where is it?
Yes. All right, so let's get into Demon Slayer, because my goodness, we had 3 episodes, which felt so nice. Because yes, we are excited to watch new content, of course, but it is, I kind of saved them up. I just waited and then watched them in a row, which felt so nice, because those cliffhanger endings, I'm like,
I feel like these were probably, if you're going to do a small marathon, these were probably the best episodes to do them, because watching them all in a row for me kind of makes them mush together a little bit. And so I just pull out the salient bits. And there were definitely some episodes that were a little more, there wasn't quite as much going on. They were still fun, but there wasn't quite as much. So I feel like if you're going to do 3 in a row, these were the 3 to do. They were all important, but some of them were a little more exciting than others.
Oh, so much humor though too. Oh my goodness, I was surprised with how funny stuff are. What did you think of the muscle mice? I was like,
I remember sitting there going, this is weird even for Demon Slayer. Like this is weird even for the standard of weird that we have established. Like this is just completely every other weird ass thing they've given us in this world works within the rules that they have established. This is weird.
100%. I was like, WTF, like, the fuck is going on? I mean, it worked within they're like, yeah, it's the muscle mites, bring me my swords.
Sure.
And then they have the explanation thing at the end of the episode, like, oh, by the way, we've trained them and they have to be narcissists who are obsessed with their muscles.
See, here's the thing. I would have 110% bought Inosuke like hallucinating or fantasizing them, and it turns out he just like stored his swords and his mask up there. And then at the end, they're like, "Nah, it's real." I'm like, no, I will accept every other piece of world building you've done for this world, but no.
You know, I almost thought it was Inosuke can talk to animals. Like
I would take that too.
I would buy that. I'd be like, sure, Inosuke can communicate with wildlife. Okay, but then they
boars in the mountains.
The Tengen headbands, and I was like,
nope. Oh no! Oh buddy!
Oh, wow, that was Let us know what you thought of that plot line, because that was very amusing. I'm like, what am I watching?
Those were not on my list of things to talk about for this episode, actually. I think I just kind of cash dumped them. I'm like, whatever. I have more interesting things to say.
I liked, what was another thing that was funny but interesting and not really surprising, but how Tanjiro, that his Orion knew, like, oh, I knew you were a boy. And he's just so embarrassed of like, I've been made. But it's just a testament to how adorable and sweet he is that she didn't mind him being around, because it's like, it is very much, the feminine space of literally changing and all that, it makes sense that they'd be like, all right, no boys. But she's like, it's fine. He's fine.
It's like, he's a boy, but he's cool.
Yeah.
He seems to be cool. I appreciated just the little scene of him doing all the chores and working too fast for the madam to keep up with. Just like, please go away and let me think.
Like, can I do more? What can I do? And she's like,
what else? Please
whoa,
stop.
back up. Yes.
I've had interns like that before, and it's like, I need you to go take a break. Are you old enough to drink coffee? Please go drink some coffee. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Let me live.
The other thing, though, too, with the Orion that I like, too, is an intelligent character that goes, okay, you're doing something, but you must have a reason. You don't really have to get into it with me. I understand. You're doing it for a purpose, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating watching shows and movies where people are like, you lied to me. It means everything you said is a lie. And you're just like, can we have an intelligent conversation?
The third act main character's fight requirement. You can hear the CinemaSins ding right there.
Wait, say, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Like, must we? Must we?
Speaking of fighting, what did you think of the fighting in this episode? We got some really cool stuff and weird stuff, too.
One of my, we've kind of skipped over most of what's in the first episode, and honestly,
but like you said, it all blends together.
The thing is, the thing that I remember most from the first episode was it did that fun little thing where we got a stinger after the credits and then we got our fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember way back when they dropped the trailer for Spider-Man 3. I'm talking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, not No Way Home. And when that trailer dropped, we knew we were going to get Venom. We knew that was happening despite Sam Raimi's wishes. And I mean, we all know now that Spider-Man 3 was a little bit of a pastiche train wreck because of studio interference. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, when the trailer dropped, very, very last scene in the trailer is that scene in the movie where Spidey's looking around and Venom drops from the ceiling and then pulls him up off camera, grabs his neck and pulls him straight up. And that was one of those moments in the trailer that's like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And I mean, again, the movie was not great, but trailers are either magic or trash, and this one was magic. Not Inosuke. Oh my god, Zenitsu getting venomed at the end of that episode was just like, yikes!
It's all yoink. Yeah,
It was
where'd he
great,
go?
but it was 110% that last moment from the trailer of just getting venomed, and I love it so much.
I was gonna say, I honestly
such a
don't
good way to end
remember that,
episode.
so
No,
I'll
I
take your
don't.
word for it. Yeah.
I mean,
Leave us
look
a
up the
comment letting you
Spider-Man.
know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, look up the Spider-Man 3 trailer. It's, a
Okay.
minute and a half watch. It's from way back when, but
Yeah.
it's I say way back when. Yeah, it's been over 10 years. That counts as way back when.
It does. Yeah.
But the trailer is well put together, and again, just that bit at the end, such a good moment. But I appreciated that, and then I appreciated later linking it to, oh, these houses are linked somehow. That's how they're managing to do the murders without daylight, without having to go out in the day, and then finding out that the tunnel is just big enough for the Obi, and that's it.
Oh, and watching
dislocating everything was an option. But
yeah. Also, like, I'm not claustrophobic, but the idea of being trapped like in a crawl space like that is like, nope.
This is why I don't understand people who go like spelunking and cave diving. Like, more power to you. That is terrifying.
Yeah, because he gets stuck. What do? You can't turn around, and it's not like you can back up. Yeah.
So I was like Inosuke cares.
No.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Inosuke.
Yeah, and he was so glad to get his swords back and his head back and be like, I'm doing something. And of course, no, he didn't wait. I like that we got to see their meeting and catching up thing, because I kind of wonder that they must be meeting up and sharing information, because otherwise it's too isolated to know what's going on.
Well, and also just what we got from those, just two things. One of those, again, with the first, I want to say, episode and a half of this being kind of, all right, a little slower paced, we're figuring things out. There's a comedy routine from a chunk of time ago comparing Kingdom Hearts 2 to Resident Evil 4. If you haven't watched it, it does contain some language that was iffy then and really not okay today, so a little warning for that, but it's also funny as hell, so, weigh it. But there's one point where he's talking about Kingdom Hearts 2 and saying, we have all these anime characters standing around with their hands on their hips going, boy, I hope we solve this mystery. And nothing happens. And this is just kind of what it felt like a little. The meeting of the rooftops is just, boy, I hope we solve this mystery. And I know it's a productive meeting, and I know that it worked, but that's just where my brain went, is that we had a good amount of that.
Yeah, it worked for me in the sense of, I was curious if they would even bother addressing how would they keep up to date on what's going on with each other? Yeah. It's not like they can call each other or anything like that. And I like we get to see Tengen, how quick he is and how quiet he is and everything. Yeah. What else was it? It was I
appreciated the character moment that we had for Tengen during that. Because I feel like this is what I needed for him. Because so much of it has just, I've been watching it with my roommate, and she's been calling him not Rengoku. And I'm like, that's fair. But he made a terrible second impression. We saw him in the lineup with all the Hashira.
Yes.
So, like, anyone remembers what anyone did during that lineup. That was a whole season ago. He made a terrible first impression with the audience, with trying to grab the girls and running off and just kind of being a dick about it. Yep. And he hasn't made a better one. And so having this and having some of the flashbacks later on with him talking to his wives and putting their lives above the mission, having this part where he's saying, Zenitsu's missing, we're having trouble with this. I was so desperate to get my wives back that I made bad decisions. I put you in danger. Your priority is surviving. You should leave. Just the fact that he was able, this is a shonen anime, people don't do this. Just the fact that he was able to say, I fucked up. I was wrong. I made the wrong decisions and I put you in danger is incredible, and also adds the necessary context to that introduction of him. Because he was already desperate and already making these bad decisions to get the people that he loves back. So
true.
I get it now. And I appreciate him so much more now.
Oh yeah, these episodes definitely made me like him so much more. And I like that though as a show that maybe at first you don't like a character, and that's okay. But you're giving me character development as the show goes on. It's like, oh, here's some more information about them. Here we get to see different behavior and how other characters interact with him. Like how he was with the different wives was like,
Yeah.
he's so sweet and he's tender and he's like taking care of them and not in a like
Not
anything negative way, not condescending or anything. He's just like, honestly, I care about you and you did the best you could. And are you okay? Like the real, when we meet the first one, when he rescues her, is really like, are you okay? It's like, okay. And then
the scene took the extra just few moments of him just holding her before he left. It's like, no, this is good. These are the quiet moments that really let the scene and the emotion sink in. And it's a bit of pacing that not everyone is good at. Miyazaki's amazing at these. He's very, very good at letting a moment breathe. But you don't always get that, especially in a shonen.
It's like go.
Exactly. Yeah. So the fact that we had this moment of you take an extra moment, you let it breathe, you let that emotion really sink in. It's like, oh, that was amazing. And I'm crying now. Let's keep going.
And then it was, so that, I was like, where did it go? Because I just had it. Okay, there we go. That one was Hinatsuru. Yes. And then I loved when we meet Suma and Makio and they are fighting. And then also when Suma's like crying and like, I'm not really meant for this. And that could be almost annoying or obnoxious the way like Zenitsu does it. Though he's getting better. Just saying, it's a little shade. But the way
he's better when he's asleep.
I know, but dude, the show is so meta. I love that.
Inosuke talking shit.
Yes. No, when Inosuke calls him out on that, he's like, "You're better when you're asleep." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what we're thinking." No offense to Zenitsu lovers out there, come on. You have to be honest though, it's a bit but Suma just seemed adorable and it was balanced with Makio's energy and that they both were kicking butt. Like they were fighting really well and it's just, they weren't just throwaway characters.
Yeah. And that we got the flashbacks for them and we got the, all right, when you are a woman shinobi, you don't have the raw physical strength that men do just because, difference in body types. And so, it's easier to get killed. It's easier to it's a rougher life. And that flashback to him going, so here's my priorities. You guys, the rest of all the dull people out there living their lives, and then me. But seriously though, you guys. If the mission looks like it's going to kill you, bail because you guys. And the fact that is evidently such a departure from the culture, from the mindset, from the training, from everything that they knew growing up. It was just like growing up. Oh my God, words. Woo! Yeah. I love it.
No, totally.
I love it. I like Mengen now. Congratulations, show. Yes. I didn't think you could make me do that, but I like him now. I didn't need his tragic backstory, even though the opening and the ending tell me he has one. I just needed this. You are people in my life, and I love you, and I will protect you. Please put your survival first. I'm like, oh, yes. Okay. You're a good human being.
Also, that messy hair from the flashback, too. I was like, ooh, it's cute. You didn't like it? No?
No, current look all the way.
Back? Okay.
The flashback look was trying way too hard.
Well, what
the
about
current look is we've perfected it. It's effortless.
True. He's not there. Yeah.
Like,
but he had his hair down when he dropped off our trio. He had it down, but I think it wasn't. He didn't have the headband weird.
Flashy. Casual, effortless, flashy.
He perfected it, and he's like, I know what to do now. Yes.
The younger look was very much. I went to high school with kids like that. I think we all did. Some of us were those kids in high school. I was definitely not that yet. And here I am with purple lipstick on air. So things change.
As someone who thinks about it way too hard, because I did have long hair, and it's a thing when it was like you do something and your hair's in your face. I like it when shows have characters that fight who have the hair out of their face.
Yes!
Because practically it drives me nuts. It's so frustrating. Like, I'm gonna have messy hair. No, you can't see anything. It's hard to even tie your shoes. Like, no. So I like with him, he has the ponytail. I mean, he has the pieces here that are more decorative, but all things considered, he could take that off if he really wanted to. And it's like behind the eyes. So it's not like gonna fall like this. Like, shout out to Tomb Raider, at least. Like, it's a French braid. It's a ponytail. It is out of the face. So
this is why you always see me with the hair pulled back by the headphones or a rubber band, or like, because guys, I know this feel. For those who've only watched this and can't see it, like, no, very long hair. You keep it pulled back if you are doing things.
Yep. And I was going to say, for anybody new to see me on this channel or anything, I used to have like down past my shoulder hair too. Yep. So it's like, so I appreciate
that long hair struggle.
Yes. So I appreciate when a character design has like their hair pulled back. Because we do have that with Makio. Makio does kind of have like either a half up, half down is a little hard to see, or at least part of it back.
She's got Yu-Gi-Oh hair.
Yes, she does.
It's pulled back and then the blonde spiky bangs framing the face. I'm like,
yes,
you got Yu-Gi-Oh hair. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah. I was going to say also, speaking of, I mentioned earlier with my jokes, which speaking of character design, them and leading into our villain, we get to see a bit more of Daki. We got some juicy ladies. I was like, wow. The villain, I mean, the wives are hot too, but damn, the villain, her character design, her outfit is like, she's a good looking lady. And what? This is our villain.
It's like, yes, the cosplay for the for me mostly just looking at the ninja outfits and just all the way down to here, and I'm sitting here going, how did that stay in place?
Right.
Like, as someone who has done the thing, as someone who has experience with this sort of thing, and y'all live in a time before double stick tape, how does that stay in place exactly? I know how cosplayers do it, but like in the fiction of the show, are we just working with anime physics here? Or
yes, 100%.
One of those things where it's like you got a guy doing character design and that happens, and then every woman who looks at it is like,
okay.
Anime physics.
Yes, we know this is just anime, but also, we also think of things in a realistic way too. I think the only way I'd really buy it is if they did the bandaging, like a wrap as a clothing, which I've seen it done before, where it's like ninja thing where they have it wrapped, the chest is wrapped down, and then there's an over layer, but you still can see a lot of cleavage and boobs going on, but it's like, they're not going anywhere. But yes, I agree with these outfits. I'm like, so we're going to have a nip slip soon? Or like, what is happening?
It's like, look, this is super cute. I love it for you. But also, I know what dealing with that is like.
Yes.
You have no support. What is this? And again, you have, I believe it's a male mangaka. I think. I don't actually know who does the manga for Demon Slayer, so I could be super incorrect here.
Maybe. But it's my guess.
These kind of strike me as guy designs, you know? Nothing wrong with that, but definitely someone who doesn't consider the practicalities in everyday life and doesn't have to.
And sadly, this is most anime as well, we can't have a adult anime lady with smaller boobs. And again, all boobs are great, but it's just
this is the point where I point to Hiromu Arakawa and go, she gets it. She gets it.
Like, can we have her? Yeah, anyway, that's a whole other. Yes, this is discussion. Leave your comments on what you thought of the character design, and no, her outfit looked really cool. So Daki, because at first I was like, it's Makio and it's Daki, and so I was like, cool, we got a name. But I love the color going on with the obi becoming. I like that they said in the translation, they're like her belts and her lady belts or something. Just sounded really amusing. That's
what happens when there's not a 1-to-1.
Yeah, not exactly. So they're donuts for rice balls. Yeah.
That's different. That is, there's a difference between translation and localization. And if you push the localization needle a little too far, that's where you wind up with 4Kids Pokemon.
Yeah.
And again, I will continue to make the argument that 4Kids is a good thing, bringing anime to America, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of conversation to be had here. That was a previous episode. Yeah, there's no sash, I guess, would be a similar enough word.
Yeah, I mean, belt
has different connotations.
Like, yeah, because we think of like a belt and it holds your pants up or your waistline, not a decorative fabric that does hold other fabric up in a way, but still it's like, anyway, I liked how it was legs, essentially. It was arms. It was another piece of her, how it could absorb people. And that's why we don't see blood was really cool and different. Like, cool. We don't have a demon that's just like, I'm going to bite you and blood everywhere. It's like, no, I'm literally absorbing you into fabric. It's like, oh, okay, that's different.
And I appreciate that I kind of want to step back a little bit and talk about the scene where it was, oh yes, we have confirmed that this is our demon with, and I cannot remember the title that they gave them, so my brain just says the madam, the head of the house, confronting her and saying, you know, we've heard about people like you. Like every once in a while, every couple decades, one will show up that uses Hime as part of their name and always looks down on you and is just kind of terrifying. It's you, isn't it? And her basically showing up to try to take care of the problem herself. I'm like, I appreciate you so much.
It's like, just, oh, well, I like that you tried. So I'm not
going to eat you. Yeet.
Yeah.
No eat, so yeet.
Yes.
And I appreciate that she just did it with gravity. But I'm also kind of laughing that the people on the street saw this woman fall and nobody thought to look up at the demon who was still chilling there in their Doc Ock Obi. Like,
you know, though, there are too many things where in general people don't look up. You know, it's that's like fair. They don't, we are used to our vision being here, and it happens in other horror movies where something falls and then we think to look up at where it came from.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're really checking your space, you would be like everywhere.
I'm not like calling it a plot hole. No. I just found that interesting.
No, it is interesting that nobody thinks to go, wait, where did it come from? I guess they would assume she just jumped from the building. I don't know. Yeah. I really enjoyed that we got our Muzan back for our head demon dude when she checked in or she came back and he was there. I was like, oh, he's back. Our Michael Jackson demon.
That was a nice murder. I saw you wasting food there, but that's okay. You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, and you're beautiful.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Like, yep. I just love that character's voice, and can't wait for English because shout out to Greg Chun because he does make that character like velvety smooth voice. That you're like, you're a bad person, but I like how you sound.
It's like you're terrible. Tell me more.
Yes. But I like seeing also that too, because we see a little bit more again of the demon ranking system of how strong she is and how terrified she is of him. So
I mean, I think also, everyone is straight up terrified of him, regardless.
True. I do kind of want to see this kind of does remind me way back in the beginning where we saw the child as well, that I want to know if we're going to see our head demon dude switch, like go from one to the other. Like, does he have like different lives set up that he can hop from one to the other when he needs to? Because we haven't seen that, and I don't think we'll get that either at all or till much later. But I'd want to know because he's an interesting character. So it's like
we've seen the kid, we've seen the family man, and we've seen the beautiful kimono form.
Yeah, he dresses.
But we
as
haven't
a madam
seen
too.
that one in public.
No, true.
Yeah. Only doing murders on the other demons. It's fine.
You know. Yeah. Character divine, back to Daki. And yeah, the one shot too, speaking of cosplay, when you said that made me think of like, I'm curious to see when people cosplay her because we get that back shot and I'm like, she got a little tiny bikini bottom on too. And good luck.
She has a bralette. She has a bikini bottom. Yep. I don't remember if she has sandals. I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, they're the tall. I'm blanking on what they're called, but yeah, the really tall ones. Yeah.
I think it's Gaeta.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm like, let
Good
me
at this.
look.
I'm good at this. I remembered Obi, and that's good enough.
Right.
I can see people doing, because there's a version of her that has like the full kimono, and then that's what comes out to become the Obi. So I
Yeah.
can definitely see people doing a more kimono version,
Geita,
just
yeah.
for practicality's sake.
Yes, they're called, looking up, they're called Geita.
Yay!
Yay! Good job.
I
Memory-
remembered something.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how people would cosplay her character. I think it is interesting. I liked her fight with Tanjiro and how she's like, your eyes are pretty. I'm going to eat them. Like,
I'm going to
okay.
eat your eyes and leave
Yeah.
the rest. And it's like, quit
Yeah.
wasting food. There are starving
Right?
demons in the countryside.
What did you think of when her Obi was talking in its face? And do you think it's like a symbiotic thing with her? Because it does seem like she talks to it. Because it's not a piece of her. It seems more like they're together rather than it being a extension of herself, you know?
I do think it is. I am going to go with like extension of herself. Like that part is separated because that's I love that she was calling it the food locker. Like that shouldn't make me as happy as it does, but I just appreciate that that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I do think that that is a separate part of her that she's still in communication with, and that she's, strong enough that she's able to be like, and you're alive now on your own. Good luck. Keep the food fresh.
Well,
and
I guess
all of the food in there is like 2 weeks from retirement, which was it's like, oh, you're leaving tonight. Yoink. Like, it's just like all of these people she's kidnapped were either not hella important or gonna leave anyway. So it's again 2 weeks from retirement.
I guess the way we would verify the relationship between her to the Obi that's in the food locker is if when one dies, does the other disappear as well? Because if it is you are, depending on how connected you are, it's like how quickly does that other extension die? Because like she didn't seem to be hurt fighting Tanjiro when the food locker area was getting hurt. So they're not too connected.
Like if she goes down, the food locker goes down. But if the food locker goes down, she does not. I think it's a one-way thing.
I think so. That's a good point. Probably. Yeah. We'll see. And
we'll find out.
Teeny tiny reminder, we are covering only the show at this time. So if you've read ahead, please no spoilers. Y'all do a fantastic job of not saying anything. We're just going along with the show.
Yep.
Was there anything else with her fight scenes that we didn't quite get to? That you're like, hey, wait.
Using the Hinokage Kagura. I don't think that's the right one, but I've remembered enough words
getting
tonight.
in the direction of the sun one, yes.
Yes, like use that sun breathing. And I'd say I appreciate a lot, but I do. I appreciate many a thing. The little flashbacks to training and how difficult it was. And just the bit with, you have a fever that's not going down. I need to tell someone.
She's like, can you please wait? She's like, no, I can't.
Let me give you medical attention. If you have a fever that's not going down, something's wrong.
I felt so bad for her. She's so precious. I like their flashbacks too.
They're so cute.
Yes.
So I like that we got to see more of what he's worked on. I like that we got to see what happened during that nice little 3-month time skip. 3 months, was it?
Sure.
Long enough to repair. Yes. Long enough to repair issues.
Yeah.
But we did have a training time skip, and I appreciate that we got to see a little bit of what happened to be able to look at this fight and go, okay, he did level up. Okay, he is able to use this and a second blow and recover. Like, it's definitely not enough to beat upper 6 alone.
But it's progress.
He's not dead. So that's good. Sometimes that's the only bar you can ask for.
Well, she even comments on that, like, "Oh, you're still alive," and he's like, "Yep." And he's, I also appreciated
just as surprised as you are.
I appreciate the logic of, I feel dumb because I hit my back, and I can't move because I'm scared, And there was just like, it makes sense for him to really kind of analyze it that way, of that's how you could keep going and be like, no, I need to. Oh, actually, what was the line? He had the one like, it's not that I want to. He had the like, because I have to. And before he said it, I totally said it out loud. And like, yes, of course he's going to say,
yes,
I have to. I was like, yes, that is our boy, our bestest boy. He's going to do it. Yes.
Like, the soft boy shonen protagonist.
Yeah.
Yup.
But he's
good.
He's very, I don't know. It is interesting looking at those kind of archetypes in shonen of like what kind of hero protagonist we got going on. But Tanjiro feels really likable because he's not, he just seems so, he's very golden retriever, very precious.
Yeah.
And,
he and Izuku Midoriya in My Hero Academia. It's the soft boy shonen protagonist. I love that that's where we are now.
Yeah. Well, he's not. I'd say Midoriya is a bit more of a softie than. They both cry,
They're both teal soft boys who will straight up McMurder you if you threaten their friends and family.
That's true.
And I'm here for it. This is my type. Where was this when I was growing up?
That's true. Yeah, it's a newer
all of our shonen
thing,
protagonists just wanted food and fighting, which is not a bad thing to have as a shonen protagonist. But soft boy is
variety.
Damn.
Yes. And variety too. We can't all have the same one like constantly. It's like change it up. His fighting, I like that we're seeing leveling up. Him changing his body temperature to be able to do it was a really kind of cool, like, all right, that makes sense. Okay.
Like, I'll take it. I'm here. Let's go.
I like seeing
Go ahead.
I was like the neck threads constantly popping up and like going away. I was like, ooh, it feels like we've been a while since we've seen those.
And also, I appreciate that here's the thing. Okay, the battle has shifted. The opening is no longer there. Like, we saw those as the second he sees it, the battle is over. And now that we're leveling up and the demons are getting a hell of a lot more dangerous, we have, it's still going, it's still happening. There's an opening, but then the battle shifts and there's new openings and it just keeps changing. And I love that. And I love that we got that visual shorthand for that.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. It was a nice kind of refresher too, because it's been a while since we've seen it, and not that we forgot about it, but it's like, oh yes, that it's been a while since we've seen you use it.
I'm also super amused that everyone else is in the food locker. Everyone else is at the secondary battle, and he's up there going,
I can do this. I got it.
Please send backup. Please send backup. This poor child. He will die.
I was thinking somebody else was going to show up, and it's like, nope, not yet. But we needed to do it himself.
Be there. I thought Tengen was going to be there. Nope. Nope. Just like,
his sense of smell has kind of taken a backseat. They did a tiny bit of it again, but not as much. Also, I forget what it was, but looking back at old stuff, and I had someone point it out to me. And again, don't say it if you know it, anybody who's already read ahead. But looking back, it's interesting to see how much of his scar has changed. Like at the very beginning, it's just like a basic little burn mark. And now it's this really interesting shape and essentially has gotten bigger. And I'm like, it just came to mind again when I was watching this episode, the last episode that was available. So I was like,
mostly just attributing that to the fact that he's been hit on the head more than once.
That too. That's
just... but I'm not going to worry about that till it shows up. But
it might be nothing. But somebody mentioned something one time, and I don't even remember what it was. So then I'm like, wait, is there something to it? Am I going to?
It's like, let's keep an eye on that in case it's important. It might not be important, but we'll put it on the list. It's a long list. It's a very long list.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of important, anything else on the episodes that we watched that we didn't get to yet before we move on to our next segment?
I don't think so. I think we hit just about everything. Again, I think the moment that I'm still not over is Zenitsu getting venomed. I love it. I love it so much. Just yoink. Like, oh, okay. Woof.
What? All right, we got a lot. We got more fighting finally because it had been a little more mellow, and but we also get character development. We get a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor on these. And in watching it, man, that opening theme song is a banger. I still really like it. I'm like,
jazzy. It's jazzy.
I like it. It's like da 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 da. I'm like, yes, okay, I like it.
I think I prefer the previous arc's opening over this one. But
It's a
this
different
one
vibe, though.
It's still a banger.
Yes. Yeah, leave your comments down below, your thoughts on these episodes that aired over the holiday break, or at least our holiday break. It was for us, or at least
as much
we did
of
it
a
that
break
way.
as it was.
Yes. Alrighty, so things. So that wraps up our Demon Slayer bit. So stuff you should check out. We're going to talk about what things we watched over the holiday break. You were going to say something else?
No.
Or no? Okay.
No, I'm like, yes, we're moving on. Yeah. Trying to keep my headphones from falling off. Too excited. They're shifting.
You're like, whoa.
Like,
If you missed it, check out our previous episode for more holiday specific ones that are for the holiday season, or you can watch it anytime, but that's what that focus was. But over the holiday break, we watched different things. So we'll talk about that real quick before we wrap it up. Anything that you watched in particular that stood out to you, Katie?
So I spent a good chunk of the holiday with my parents, and my mom has very specific tastes when it comes to watching things, which means there isn't always a lot of overlap between what she's into and what I'm into. Even like we both watch reality baking shows. She watches Top Chef and Hell's Kitchen. I watch Great British Baking Show and nailed it. And she will not watch either of those with me. So it's like, where do we find the middle ground?
British Bake Off is so good.
Hawkeye. So we finally finished Hawkeye, marathoned our way through 6 episodes. Not going to say any spoilers in case anyone hasn't seen it yet. 6 episodes long, just absolutely steeped in Christmas. Highly recommend it. Lost my noise every time Rogers the Musical came up, and it came up more than once.
So funny.
Oh my God. Amazing. It's
like, absolutely, we would do that. We would totally be making musicals if this was real. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's and just the way it was staged, it really hit my like secondhand embarrassment, like that little bit of like nothing against the performers. They did a really good job up there. Like nothing against anyone who was involved in that. Like this was a great thing to put in the show. And also I'm dying slightly. And that's a me thing. So yeah, that Hawkeye was great cameos, great plot. I appreciate it. And if you've read the Fraction run, it's a lot of fun to watch the show. It's not the same, but seeing the Tracksuit Mafia come back is always a good time. The design is very heavily based on the Fraction run. Like it's good stuff. And I would say that that's one of the best runs that Hawkeye has had in comics. Fight me. So yeah, highly recommend the show. Very good. We watched Encanto when we got back. Have you watched that yet?
Not yet. I have a friend that I've been meaning to watch it with, so I was waiting till we could watch it together.
Watch it with a box of Kleenex.
I've already seen a lot of stuff, and I already know some things based on how people have reacted, but I don't think it's spoiled it.
Watch it with a box of Kleenex.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It feels like it moves very quickly to the point where I was almost surprised when we hit the climax of the 3rd act, and I was like, wait, it hasn't been. Oh, it has. Oh, that's dang, good. This movie went fast.
Like, makes you invested.
Yeah, it was much more a family story than anything else. And I really appreciate that. And again, I don't want to say more because spoilers, but if you've got Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus and it's not behind an additional paywall. So that's very good. Highly recommended. Every song in this movie is good. Some of them are more bangers than others. One of them made me straight up cry, and y'all who've seen it know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, We Don't Talk About Bruno and Pressure are both bangers that will be on my Spotify list for a while. Nice. And then because I can't get out of a recommendations thing without talking about garbage, because I like garbage, guys. It's fun. My mom and I don't always see eye to eye when it comes to reality TV, but sometimes she'll put something on and I'll be like, I like that though. Like it's terrible, but I like it. She watches a lot of like Housewives and stuff like that. And then she put on this show called Below Deck. And it's a reality TV show about the crew of one of those stupid expensive charter yachts where you're paying like a couple $100,000 for 5 days, and it's all specifically catered and tropical paradise and just, But the show is not about the super rich people who are taking the trip. The show is about the captain of the boat and the crew and the cook and the below deck people.
Okay.
It's straight up trashy reality TV. It is. And the one point where I went, you know what, I like this, I want to watch more, I forgot the name. And so I started asking, like, hey, do you have any of the Trashy Boat Show recorded? So it's the Trashy Boat Show. So if you are in the mood for trash reality TV, I like Below Deck, evidently. So, hey, join me with the Trashy Boat Show. And there's someone out there that watches Below Deck religiously and loves it. It's like, how dare you call it trash? I'm like, no. All reality TV is trash. It just depends on what flavor of garbage you enjoy.
Yes, 100% would agree with that. I'm like, yes.
Speaking we just talked about the Great British Baking Show, and I'm like, that's baking trash. It's very, very good and high quality.
It's so good.
It's so good.
That's a good one.
It's great.
Yes.
But we are still under all reality TV is trash.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
good.
Theirs doesn't feel as the problem with most reality
trashy.
TV. Yeah, and it doesn't feel forced.
It doesn't.
Like you don't feel that they prompted the person to say something or how they edited it where you're like,
it's British.
Yeah. That helps probably too. All right.
Whereas Nailed It is like, our trashy is curated and beautiful and on purpose. Let's see what you did. Like, again, Nailed It.
Yeah.
Nailed It is wonderful. We need another season of Nailed It. Just do it again. Just give us another one.
I was going to say, speaking of reality TV that's trashy, but I'm like, but I like it though. Inkmaster. I've been watching Inkmaster. I love the aspect of the art and the tattooing and how to appreciate tattoos and like the work that goes into them. But the drama in the show feels so forced, so fake that I'm like, like you almost want to just fast forward through it. I mean, when they really get into the super drama stuff, I'm like on my phone, like, all right, I'm just going to check something real quick. Oh, it's time to tattoo. Okay, I'm paying attention now. Because I watched season 3 recently and I just started season 4 and it just, like you can tell they went like, hey, so-and-so, why don't you ask them this? Because they say a full complete sentence. They say a question. It just feels so like, and the finale, the live finale for season 3 is so bad. It feels so clunky. Oh my gosh. But it's like, so awkward.
I used to watch Project Runway. Fashion trash.
I do like some of that one though. I did watch one of the seasons because also one of my friends was on it early on. So
nice.
Yeah. So that was I'm like, well, I'll watch it. Pardon?
The Tim Gunn years.
Yeah, I don't remember what year it was. I'll have to look it up and I'll be like this guy and I'll show you. But I like Project Runway as well. But yeah, if you're interested in tattoos at all, Inkmaster is pretty interesting though. Maybe they were better early on because it does feel more processed as I think by season 3 and then season 4, but it's okay. It's still interesting. Then I would also still say I would agree Hawkeye is really good and holiday-esque, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
So if you want something holiday, I still think they don't do the bestest job on how they shot the character who signs, and it's annoying because they do close-ups like here, and it's like just a little wider and we could see everything and that would make me feel so much better, but that's kind of my only complaint. Watched season 2 of The Witcher, did that for New Year's, just marathoned all 8 episodes.
I have not done that yet. That is on the list.
It's good. It is different from season 1. Obviously, we don't want them to be the same. It is a bit more linear. So, which makes sense because if it's not a spoiler to say that, but we brought our characters together now. If we go back to disparate timelines, it's like semi-spoilers if you never watched season 1. But
season 1 has disparate timelines.
You're like,
now go watch it because it's amazing.
The special effects are phenomenal for season 2. They really amped it up, I think, because there is a character that is full CGI. I think like they on Instagram they showed, I watched part of it where it's like this part of them is physically there, so that is real practical effects, but the face they did digitally, and it just looks really believable that it's in that space. So I really like that. It is less sexy time, just a little bit of a bummer, but it makes sense because Geralt is taking a young girl on a quest, essentially. So there's not as much time for sexy time.
I'm okay with less sexy times.
Right. I feel
the
for
ace
some
contingent
people,
of the audience is like, that's fine.
It didn't bother me, but I thought about it. It's just because there was so much sexy time in the first one. There's a little bit of nudity and a little bit, but definitely not the same, which again, not a negative thing, just that's a notable thing. There is
less Yennefer running an orgy. Fewer episodes of that.
Yes. There is a animated prequel, essentially, that you don't need to watch, but I do highly recommend, because it is the history of what happened to the Witcher's Keep, of why they can't make Witchers. Yes, it's been mentioned, but the whole movie has that, as well as there's a character in Witcher Season 2 that you get to see his backstory if you watch that movie. Also, it's baby Geralt for a little bit, small child. But yes, I do recommend watching that before, because it was kind of cool while watching to be like, oh, hey. And you don't necessarily need to rewatch Season 1 unless it's really fuzzy for you, because it's if you follow along, but maybe there's moments where you're like, okay, and yeah, you might be like that, but it wasn't bad. So there's that. And then I also saw the newest Spider-Man movie. That one was definitely so much fun. If you have not, you should see the at least first two of the first set of Spider-Man movies. You do need to watch the Andrew Garfield ones. I mean, you don't need to, because the movie fills you in on stuff. So in case you haven't watched them, it's okay. But it was nice to have rewatched them to be like, oh, hey.
I'm going to make the argument that you do not need to have seen a single other non-Marvel Spider-Man movie in order to get this. And I say that as someone who has seen all of them and was super into everything. And we did the Friday night showing with our nice little KN95s, and all of us just going nuts whenever a cameo happened. I do have a friend who I think had seen the first Tobey Maguire movie, and I think the first, I can see his face and the brain is not there, current Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Thank you. I just cash dumped that. She'd seen the first Tobey Maguire movie way back when, and the first Tom Holland one, and then watched this one, and she had a blast because the movie is well explained enough to be like, these are from alternate dimensions. This is what's happening.
Or they just have a line that they're like, that's so and so, and then this happened. It's more, you get a quick exposition without it feeling like exposition. But personally, it was nice I hadn't seen the Garfield second movie, and so it was nice to rewatch that, nice to watch that for the first time, because then you get to see more of who these villains are, and there's a visual match shot with a certain character that was cool, because it's like, oh, I just saw this, and that's very reminiscent. So also it felt very much like, oh, it's so nice to see you again. But you wouldn't have that.
It felt like closure for all three franchises.
Oh, yes.
There were parts of it that I disagreed with. There were, I have issues with the ending, and it's very much the ending is very much, some people loved it. Some people like me were like, well, that's disappointing. And it really depends on your take on Spider-Man as a character, a franchise, a whole, and whether or not you enjoyed what's been happening in the MCU so far. It's very much a your mileage may vary ending. I don't want to say too much more about that, but
there's some other interactions that I would need to see that would change my thoughts on that, if that makes sense. Because I have questions on things, but
I have very specific opinions on this.
Yeah, that's fine.
And if you want my very specific opinions on this, DM me, because I still don't want to spoil people, because people still don't want to go to theaters, which is 100% valid.
Yeah. And Tobey Maguire, to see him back too was cool, of oh, hey, again, you don't have to have seen the other movies, but it does give a nice, they're back feeling, which you might not have. Will you be lost? No. But will you miss out on that? Maybe. But if you've seen it once, you don't need to rewatch. How's that? If you've already seen them, you don't need to rewatch them. Like, it doesn't need to be fresh. But if you never saw it in the first place, it's fine. Go check it out. Yeah.
It's a richer movie if you understand all of the references.
Yes.
It's still a solid, fun movie if you've never seen a Spider-Man outside of Tom Holland. If you've never seen any of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, you might be a little lost at the very beginning, but
that's
fair. Catch up. It's a solid movie.
Yes. But yes, I would say go check it out. It's cool. We had another quick person from the chat, which I'm like, thank you for joining, but I'm a little, I think you would be very lost. John Knight says, hi girls, I haven't seen Demon Slayer season 2 yet because I'm waiting for the dub to release. Totally fair. I get it. But we do talk very specifically about the show. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but points out that the movie has been released on Blu-ray. Fair.
There you go.
But having seen the movie, and we did cover the Mugen Train arc of the show, I would almost say just watch the show version of it because there's the extra bits.
A little more. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a little bit.
Especially just the straight up Rengoku episode at the beginning. Which
I do think is a little weird to do that. Like, why do a movie and a series and have them be different? Because then it's like, anyway. Makes it a little confusing wait, so do I need to watch which one?
Here's the thing. Dragon Ball Super has also been doing that, and the movies are handily more competent than how they did it in the series.
See, that's interesting when you make it very different, but it's like
just a lot more filler in the series. It's kind of a problem.
That's fair.
The sad thing is the best Super movie we've had so far has been the Broly one, but watching that dubbed is an option given who voices Broly. But on the flip side, you have the late, great Chris Ayres doing Frieza.
Mm-hmm.
And his Frieza is chef kiss amazing.
Yeah.
So, if you watch the dub, there's...
Yeah.
But can I say that I recommend the Broly Super movie? I think I do. I think I do. It's a lot of fun. You're going to want to know something about Dragon Ball Z and probably something about Super in order for it to make any sense in terms of context, but it's a hell of a lot better than the OG Broly movie. That bar is subterranean, but it's better.
I was going to say also a quick shout out to I just finished season 1 of Kami-sama Kiss. I still absolutely love that show. It is so good. If you want a romance show that's a little bit of a spicier version of Fruits Basket meets Inuyasha, go check it out. Season 1 is adorable and amazing. And I barely started season 2, so I can't comment on that. But season 1 is a nice package of good if you want a romance one with gods and fantasy or mythology. Go check it out. Alrighty. We did all of
very behind on everything I'm watching, so
right.
I'll catch up eventually. It'll be great.
Yeah. Giga Derek agrees, says the Broly Super movie is excellent. Very much recommend. Yes.
Amazing. Frieza in that movie is just pitch perfect. So good.
Yes. Well, we are unfortunately at the end of our time. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It was super fun to talk about Demon Slayer and other movies and things we watched over the holiday time. There we go. So leave your comments down below what you thought of the different movie shows and episodes that we talked about down below. Yes. And you can find us online. Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet, as you can see down here. And I don't currently have any big projects going on. It's the beginning of the year. We're coming off vacation. We are just kind of doing our best. But keep an eye out. Fun stuff is happening. We're going to try writing a little more this year, see where that gets us. So, yeah. Join me. Nice. It's a good time.
Yes. And y'all can find me online at Carrie Deanlane. That's Karidlane on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And I just did a nice year in review TikTok video. That's also my Instagram. So if you're only on Instagram, it's cool. I post the same thing on there, which most people do as well. So don't think like it's, yeah. Anyway, make sure to click the thumbs up, subscribe button. I was like, what are the things?
Like,
on this
subscribe,
channel,
ding.
like, subscribe. And yeah, new projects, nothing yet. But you know, there's always stuff in the works. So stay tuned. Join us every Monday night at 7:30 as we talk about Demon Slayer, anime, gaming, and all kinds of other fun and nerdy things. Thank you.
Everything.
Yes, all the things.
All the things. Everything. Imagination.
And we also have a very good time here. We laugh a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you watch it live, thank you for joining the live chat and watching live. And if you watch it later, no worries at all. We love having you here either way. And we'll be seeing you next time. All right, take care and have a good one. Bye.
See ya.